Hey, what's going on, guys? Acting Relic here, recording, and I was actually going to do some Grand Theft Auto 5 online today, but and mainly because Heist just launched, so I wanted to maybe talk a bit about that and maybe go into it. But for some, and I downloaded the patch for it, but for some reason it doesn't want to work. So well, I do have other videos I can record, mainly going back to Skyrim, and well, that's the main thing right now, is just doing Skyrim stuff, but most of that is the silent playthrough with the podcast style reflection afterwards, which is fine, but I prefer to do other stuff that he's actually talking about. So I guess this is sort of a request video. And this is a request to the people who watch my content as to what do you want me to play, because like there's a whole bunch of stuff I could possibly play, but I'm just not sure what to do. So we're just gonna page through a bit of my games, and I'm gonna talk about a few that I think might be a possibility. So let's go in there. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm not going to do Assassin's Creed 2. I'm partway through it, and I don't even know if I'll ever go back to playing it again. I would consider Brotherhood, even though it's rather long. I just like Brotherhood more than 2. It was actually the first one I ever played. Yeah, that's on my front on the Assassin's Creed. I'd rather do Brotherhood or 4, not 2. And those are the only 3 I actually own. I would consider Bastion. Bastion would be fun to do, but also at the same time, Bastion is a very narrator-heavy game. So having 2 people try and narrate over one story is a little tricky. And a silent playthrough of it wouldn't be really that interesting. If you don't know what Bastion is, go look it up. Definitely go listen to that soundtrack, because Bastion's soundtrack is awesome. Battle Block is better with people. Chivalry I only have a partial for. There's not a whole lot to do with Civ. Maybe, but not too much. Cloudberry Kingdom is only a trial. I've done bits and pieces of Odst 2. It'd be cool to do one of the Call of Duty campaigns, because while Call of Duty gets a lot of flack for being a multiplayer centric game, Treyarch actually knows how to do campaigns. Odst 2 isn't the greatest campaign. Like, there's some decent missions, but Ops 1's campaign is actually a lot of fun. Command & Conquer is not something I'll be doing. Contra, I don't have the full version. Crisis, I'll give you the lowdown on Crisis. Very pretty, decent controls, not that good story, and not really that fun to play. I've done my Souls stuff. As much as I love Darksiders 1 and 2, especially 2 with this case, it's too long. It's just enormous. And that's saying something after playing the Souls franchise and doing Skyrim. But it's just, while Skyrim has tedium to it, these 2 games exemplify tedium, especially Siders 2. The amount of fetch quests you have well, it's essentially Darksiders 1, but extended in fetch quests. Like, Darksiders 1 was trying to be, in my mind, the mature Legend of Zelda with a different idea of story. Like, you had your 4 dungeons, and then you went from there into a new realm, and you earned another power, and then continued on and on until you get your final fetch quest of getting all the pieces of the Armageddon blade and constructing that, and then going and fighting the final boss. Anyways, I'm not going to be doing Darkstalkers because I suck at it. I'm horrible at that kind of fighting game. I would consider Dragon's Dogma. I know I already said I don't terribly like doing long, tedious games, but Dragon's Dogma allows me to just talk about how a mediocre game, if you know sort of some of the back to it, like I've said before that Dark Souls takes a lot from other things, mainly an anime series called Berserk. Dragon's Dogma is so far Berserk that there are characters that have the exact same look as characters from Berserk. There are weapons that are the exact same. There's one entire class that is the exact same as the main character of the story. You can just call it Berserk. You can scratch out Dragons and Dogma and just call it Berserk game, which would be really nice. Considering there is going to be Dragon's Dogma Online, hopefully that just becomes Berserk Online by the end of it. Anyways, Dead Rising 2, probably not going to do too much. I didn't mind it, but I like zombie games. I just wish there was a little more. There's a line between giving someone freedom and ultimate freedom. I'm leaning towards more of the ultimate freedom, like do whatever you want kind of thing. That's why Dying Light looks so cool to me. Destiny, I recorded a little bit of. Deciding what to do with that footage. I could just do random messing around videos in Destiny. There's always that. Dishonored is a possibility, but I don't know. I think about it. If people really like seeing that, sure. Doom, I don't have the version. Downgate is just a good recommendation because it's actually a reasonably good Quake sort of indie game. It's not bad. It's pretty, especially for an Xbox Live indie game, it's pretty good. Fable 3, no, not gonna do that again. I played through it once and that's all I really needed. Blood Dragon is tempting. Just because it's really cool and I know most of the films it references, and so on and so forth. I will get to Iron from Ice. I will get to this. I'm just figuring out when I want to do it. So, it will come, but I have to get in the right... You know what? What I may end up doing, now that I think about it, is after or maybe partway through the new season of Game of Thrones, when it comes out in April, and when I watch it all after I'm done all my exams, I think that may be when I do it. I have not touched it at all. I have not watched any playthroughs of it, so on and so forth. Geometry Wars, that's just the demo copy. GTA 5, I've already said. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for whatever the hell is wrong with my online system to be fixed. Halo 3, I'd be tempted to do either speed playthrough or gimmick playthrough of the campaign. Maybe some online multiplayer as well, I don't know. waypoint doesn't matter. Same thing goes for reach. I was doing the thing where I was doing Firefight fun times. I'd like to go back to that, although I think I'd like to try doing actual commentary. Happy Wars, not really feeling it. Hexic's fun, but it's not very good for commentary. Kingdoms, I tried, but I'm sorry, no. Skyrim's gonna take that slot of big fantasy RPG. This game sucks, do not buy it, because this is actually from the creators of the game, they have Project Spark for Xbox One. So I was like, oh, maybe this little indie game might be fun, because it's on the same concept as Project Spark, but on a very smaller scale. So I was thinking, oh, it's just going to be Project Spark on a smaller scale. No, this is a college grade graduation project, as it were. So no, I don't like you, Kudo, or however the fuck you want to pronounce it, Gameline. Life is Strange will be coming to my co-op channel, Pass the Controller. Stay tuned for that. Battlefield Middle-earth 2, if I can get it to not glitch and shake around, would be fun to play, because it's one of the RTSs that I actually have a lot of fun playing. I'm not doing Mass 1, because, well, I don't even know if on non-recording terms I'll ever go back and play Mass 1. I know there's some good pieces to it, but when you start at Mass Effect 2, the bar can only go lower. I've already done my revenge and stuff. I don't think I'll be doing Peace Walker, because I've heard actually agreement on this, that Peace Walker is the strange one out of all the main Metal Gear stuff. I could do some more stuff with Ground Zeroes. Ground Zeroes is fun. Not a whole lot to do. If my viewers really want me to do in solo Minecraft stuff, I can do that, but it's not going to be very entertaining. Mount Your Friends is a very fun game, but only if you have multiple people to play it. That's why there are 2 people on the cover. Pacific Rim fighting game, the video game, is actually a pretty fun game, but again, better with more people, especially people who know it. Peggle is only a demo. I did my piece with Saints. I'm considering maybe doing some 1 or 2 one-off pieces with this game, because Section 8 original is not a very good first-person shooter. However, this one fixes most of the problems that the original one had, especially with its controls and movement speed and stuff like that, and adds a lot of good elements. Of course, I think the online component is gone, but against AI still works, and as I might even try playing it with higher difficulty AI and see how that works. But yeah, no, it's a fun game. Skyrim is currently underway. I just recorded the sections for the first 2 parts of the Thieves Guild questline, and yeah, so, well, those won't be out for a while because I still have to finish uploading piece by piece the mages and then the companions. Slender, I only have the trial, but I would consider getting the full game, especially considering, I don't know if I've ever said this on my channel, but I think I've said it before on like Pass and stuff. I am the hugest baby when it comes to horror games. So if you actually have any recommendations for horror games on Xbox 360, I'll take them. Definitely take them into consideration. I may not play them, but I'll definitely think about it. This is a really fun indie game if you just want a couple of laughs. Soul Calibur 5, I might go back and do a little bit more, mainly because I've been getting a little better at it with my arcade stick. I'm not doing Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, which is technically now Ultra if you get the update. I am horrible at it. I can hardly get the inputs to work. It's a combination of I'm bad and also my stick is not designed for doing full half circles, and I'm also just bad. Yeah, I'm just not very good at it. I would consider Witcher 2, because I've heard this game, once you really get into it, you really start to enjoy it. And I now have it for free, so I can just activate it. And yeah, I don't know. I would consider it, but I'd have to start reading through a couple FAQs and stuff to really understand how to play it properly. Because when I played it, I played it, I think, right after I had finished Fable 3, so I got this whole Fable, oh, this is just Fable, but not as good. No. It sits on its own pedestal and should be valued on its own, especially for CD Projekt and their amazing wizardry in how they get this thing to run on consoles without having the Xbox explode, because their graphics can hardly... PCs can hardly handle their graphics at times. Yeah. So those are most of the games I would consider, and I'll probably go through and make a list in the description of all the ones in there. And yeah, fuck it. Might as well just transition over to all the games I have on disc to just take a look at here, because there are a couple in here that I have been thinking about. And yes, I have a giant file folder full of games. So I already said my piece about Assassin's Creed. I forgot I had Revelations. Revelations is okay. Still, like, Brotherhood's my favorite. Already done my stuff with Bayonetta. Passed the controller for that. I would consider doing Bionicle Heroes. If you don't know what Bionicle Heroes is, Bionicle is a product and story created by Lego. And it was actually a really awesome concept of having multiple colors, each devoted to a different element, and having a whole story and lore and location based on it. And I think they only made 2 games. One was one of the very first games I ever played on, I think, GameCube. Like, even before I played stuff like Smash and stuff. And that was back in the days where my platforming was even worse than it is now. So I hated that game too, with a burning passion. The jump physics were both horrible and I was bad at them. And poor jump physics plus lava level does not equal fun. It never will. Yeah. My wall of various Call of Duty games. So the ones I would consider doing would be either Black Ops 1 campaign or maybe Modern 2's campaign. Those are my favorite 2. Black Ops 1 for an actually decent, credible story, and Modern 2 for a lot of good fun set pieces. Let's see what else is in here. Whole bunch of Guitar Hero games that I can't play because I don't have my controllers with me. I also have here Deus Ex Human Revolution, and Human Revolution stick game, but I don't think I will ever play it because it's not ideally designed for playthroughs, just based on what it is. And I also find commentating over stealth is a little tricky. Halo 3 ODST would be another campaign I'd be intrigued to do. My atrocious amount of Lego games that I own. Man, there's a lot less than I thought there was in here. I'd love to go back and do some stuff with Star Wars Battlefront 1. I think that'd be a lot of fun to just mess around in. Wow, there's actually a lot less than I thought there was in here. So yeah, I guess the main ones that I would consider doing are Call of Duty Black Ops 1, Dragon's Dogma, more pieces of Destiny, maybe not Dishonored, I don't know. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, I already said my piece with Game of Thrones, I'm going to wait till I think about that. Either Halo 3, Reach, or ODS. Well, you know what? I'll do 3 or ODST Story, Reach for Firefight. Battle for Middle-earth 2, campaigns, and skirmishes. I would love to do both. More of Ground Zeroes I would consider doing. Solo Minecraft if people actually want it. With those, I'd probably treat it as, you know what, if I was to do solo Minecraft, I would do the challenge of find whatever specific seed it is for whatever patch we're at now that has very little forested stuff, and play on hard and do the principle of if I die at all, I just quit and have to start all over again. Slender is a possibility. If you have other horror for Xbox 360 recommendations, send them to me. I know I've pretty much looked through all of them, and sadly there's not that many. I think it's like Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. 1's probably the best out of those, although I think some people think 2 is better. I honestly don't know. I always think that the first in those genres usually does pretty well. I know 3 is not very good. So Dead Space series, Condemned 1 and 2. If I was going to do Condemned, I'd do Condemned 1. And that would actually be something I'd rather do with other people, because I think it's much more interesting to look at that sort of thing with a couple people examining it. So there's those two, and it's really just the one, because I've heard Contempt 2 is not very good at all. There's the couple Resident Evils, which they're not really exactly horror, but they definitely have horror elements in them, and they came from horror. Like, especially if I was to do, well, there's the big eye of Revelations 2. The real one is to do, where are you? Oh yeah, there is Anna, but currently Anna is 15. It's dropped in price, so Anna does look very interesting, I will say. Where is it here? Is it not an arcade game? Maybe it's a full game. New releases. Where is it? Anyways, oh, there it is. Yeah, Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 1 is much more a horror game. It is one of the origins of survival horror. Going along with that, where are you here? Install that. Here is the trouble. Of Silent Hill, which is a fantastic horror series, and I would like to try it out. The 3 that exist on Xbox 360, although it's possible that the original Xbox copies might work on 360. So that might be one other thing to do. I say that because I would love to do Silent Hill 2, just to try it out and experience that for myself. However, Silent Hill HD is a steaming pile of garbage, and what I have heard that it does to Silent Hill 2 breaks the game in all of its thematic elements incredibly well. So if you want a game that is no longer scary and at times unquestionably disgusting to look at, go right ahead. And as for these two, Homecoming is a horrible abomination of a game and is not frightening in any sense, although I will probably jump even as such just because of who I am. And Downpour is only slightly better. So, if I was able to get myself a copy of Silent Hill 2 for original Xbox, and if that copy actually worked, I'd consider that. So, I know that those exist on for 360, so it's essentially those, Dead Space, Condemned, and those are really the main ones. All the exterior are action games with horror elements in them. There is one I'm considering, and it's actually much more for my co-op channel, is to do Bioshock 1. If you have any horror recommendations for Xbox 360, especially if they are in the indie games category, which there are a lot in there, but I don't know which ones are good and which ones are bad. So if you can point me in the right direction on Xbox 360, I make this heightened point because when you start throwing out recommendations, recommend me something on horror, unless you put that tag in, you are going to get a long list of PC stuff. And I don't record on PC mainly because, well, there's a couple things. It's mainly all technical. Mainly, my PC setup is not amazing. My computer does perfectly fine with what it has to do right now. But if I were to ask it to do other things, no. Plus I don't have good internal recording software, and I know, yeah, you can get that for free. But if I'm going to do this, I'd rather get the higher grade professional stuff. Like, that's why I paid the money for my Elgato recording box and my blue snowball mic. So, and there's just console games can go wrong, but not at the level as PC games. Anyways, I'm rambling. So, I would consider playing Bionicle Heroes, Black Ops 1 and Modern 2 campaigns, ODST and Halo 3 campaigns, Reach Firefight, more pieces of Destiny if people really want to see it, solo Minecraft if I can figure out a way to do it, and if you have recommended Xbox 360 horror games on any platform, be they arcade, full release, disc/on-demand, or especially if they're indie, because indie horror, I don't know exactly how much exists on 360. Anyway, I will resolve this and edit this so that it actually sounds good and makes cohesive fucking sense, and put it out with a long list and description of things I will consider playing. Anyway, that's all I have to say for that. I'm going to go off and edit this. Thanks for watching.